Hey guys, it's your girl Kenya. You've tuned in to L.I.E Radio. Are you ready to liberate, innovate, and empower? Let's talk about some deep issues, serious issues, and let's get to the nitty gritty. Woohoo! Hey guys, welcome to L.I.E Radio. We got some awesome topics today. First, I want to say I got my co-host in the house. We got Johnny Wyatt, Camila Bywaters, and Mr. Beach.
Hey, hey, hey.
You were supposed to say, hey, Johnny.
All right, hey. Yeah.
We've been in here talking about some old school music, sitting here singing, having a good time. But anyways, I want to talk about something that's serious out here that's not being talked about. I think there's a serial killer. All these women coming up missing, and I think there's a serial killer in the mix. We got women coming up missing, condolences to their families, but this needs to be discussed. It's kind of bothering me a little bit. Women out there, be careful in your cars, lock your doors, watch your surroundings, keep keys in your hands. I mean, self-defense mechanism, something you got to do to defend yourself. So what do you guys think about that real quick, about these women coming up missing? Does it seem like a serial killer to you?
You know what? I'm lost with it because I didn't even know nothing about that.
Yeah, give the background a little bit.
All right, so the first lady, Lord rest her soul, awesome woman. I've met her twice. I don't know how she passed, but TC Rip Sharon, Lord rest her soul, but she was found in her car, no longer alive. Then there was a lady, another woman found in the lake. And then there was another woman a couple days ago found in her car on Simmons and something. And then there was another lady found inside of one of them drum water things. She was found dead. So it's no, coincidence to me. It's kind of.
Did they say the age of the women?
They were all about I think they were kind of different, even different races.
Now, the one that was found in the car behind the gym, now she was connected to another lady that was connected to the guy, right?
Oh wow!
Did you hear the whole story?
No, I didn't hear the whole story.
Okay, yeah, that's a whole different story right there. But yeah, some things going on with them.
It just seems really strange right now. So ladies, be careful out there. Protect yourselves. We just got to be safe. Watch. Going on dates or meeting some strange people, or someone approaches you that you don't know. Just you can't hold conversation with everybody. I'm very friendly. I like to talk, but right now I'm like, I don't know you. Don't walk up to my car. We might have problems.
And this always happen at night? You don't know?
Well, I don't know all those details, but they're like missing for like 3 and 4 days before they're found.
Wow.
And people are putting in missing persons reports, and then they're found.
No, I'm lost. I didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, I just found out today because Kenya was telling me.
Yeah.
I saw a post about that today.
Yeah.
Coincidence, but I still didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, there's a larger, thing about that going on. I mean, everywhere. I mean, when it comes down to women, so it has been something going on, and they're talking about a lot of different things and it's not just one situation. It's a lot of different situations out there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you said all races, not one particular
No,
race.
it's white, black.
It's a lot of different women, yeah. But it's a lot been going on. It's a lot that's coming out. But that one of the things that's been going on for a long time, missing people and stuff like that. So that's something to deal with too, and how people should operate. Yeah.
Is there organs there? And you never know what's going on.
That's another stuff that's going on
I'm
too.
just saying,
They're definitely finding a lot of women with a lot of things missing.
Missing organs.
Missing
Really?
organs,
Yeah. That is why when you got your ID or your driver's license, you making a big choice when you put donor because you're a target.
Yeah,
that donor thing.
Yeah, they talk about that.
Yeah, once I learned about that whole controversy with organ donor, I said, let me take mine out. Let me take the organ donor off of my license.
Wow.
But the most tripped out thing I heard about that though is dealing with this transsexual community. That's a serious issue. And they talking about those body parts that they actually experiment things with that.
Well,
and with the transition.
Man to a woman?
You heard about that?
No, but that's what I could hear you talking about.
Oh yeah. They definitely are talking.
I can hear what he's saying.
Hey,
now,
they are definitely talking about that, and that's where the serious tripped out thing that I heard though is about the woman's internal organs that would go into a man for him to actually be able to carry a child.
You know what?
That's some crazy stuff right there.
They went against
Do
tradition.
some
Huh?
research on that.
I'm gonna have to look into that. 'Cause I
That's
didn't
some
know.
serious crazy stuff right there.
Okay.
Well, Camila, what you got on your
Yeah, we're
mind
gonna need to
today?
table that
What you got
topic.
on your mind? What you got on your mind?
That blew my mind.
Well, today, thank you, Kenya. I'm glad to be here this wonderful evening. The topic that we have today is incarceration, returning citizens, and restorative justice. So I'm interested to get everyone's feedback, and I want to hear some callers call in to give some of their suggestions, personal experiences that we have encountered in regards to this topic. I just wanted to give a couple statistics about over-criminalization and how it has impacted our communities. I was reading an article called Breaking Down Mass Incarceration, and in the 2010 census, there were data that was taken, and it reported that 2 million people are behind bars at any given time, and the U.S. has one of the highest incarceration rates beyond any other nation in the world.
Absolutely.
And that's not even looking
Absolutely.
at the racial and ethnic bias. So black people are incarcerated 5 times more than whites, and Hispanics are nearly incarcerated twice as more as whites. So it's an alarming number because at this point, according to the 2010 consensus, there are 64% of the population is white non-Hispanic. 39% of the white non-Hispanic population is incarcerated. When we look at black people, we are 13% of the U.S. population, but 40% of the U.S. incarcerated population. So that is a very, very large gap. 13% and a 40% incarceration rate. So I think, it's important for us to talk about incarceration, how it's affected our community, our families, and then also discuss some resources or some things that are helpful for returning citizens, and also ways that we can think about is the way that we do crime and punishment in the United States, or in the world, is it effective? Are people getting restorative justice? Are families who have experienced, who have been victims of crime, are they receiving the justice? And are they being restored? Are they being healed? And are the individuals who are committing crimes, and we know we have different levels of crimes and whatnot. So we can just, break it down wherever we are and what you think about incarceration. And, I'm interested to see where this conversation will take us.
What's on your mind, Mr. Beach?
This conversation can take you all over the place.
Yes.
I mean, do we really want to speak on conspiracy, or do we want to speak on reality? Because that's big business. Jail is big business. Whether we want to believe it or not, the more bodies in jail, the more money they make. That's just cut and dry. So if they can lock you up for something, you're getting locked up. And that's, I hate to say that, but whether it's a lot of Hispanics or Caucasians or African Americans, it's money on every body. When I say body, I mean physical body. It's labor. It's big business.
Do you think we can do anything about it as a people, as a community?
We can narrow it down, because if we don't do crime, it'll go down. It'll be some unjustification on some things, but at an alarming rate, it won't be like that. I wouldn't even say what kind of crime, because people is all about money, so they're going to do whatever it takes to make money.
Right.
That will get you locked up. You can't even say, well, I've had a job. Sometimes the job is not enough.
Right.
Not in today's day. You have to have
Exactly.
2 or 3 or 4 incomes to make one. And it's set up like that. That's just my belief. It's set up like that in this country. America is a good country, the greatest country, but it's hitting with a lot of things it does.
Right. But those are the crimes you're talking about, are like money and stuff. What about the crimes of passion and killing someone, and
Well,
because you found out they were doing something that hurt your feelings, so you just decide you just want to kill somebody.
they go to jail. Okay, let's just say it. They go to jail. If they have, if they can get out of jail and they did their time, they should get rehabilitated. Other than that, they should have just stayed in jail. Don't give a person 10 years and let him out, and he can't do anything with his life. He can't vote. He can't be armed. He can't do nothing. That's even worse. You might as well keep him in jail. If they do the time, then they should have a right, just like anybody else, of everything.
What about a pedophile? You agree with that? You think they should just be able to go everywhere and do everything and be around anything?
Well, the way the system is made up, drugs is supposed to help people. Is something wrong with this person? Because if you go that route, something mentally wrong with you. So they should have a place for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could make him stay in jail forever. He still had a mental problem.
Right, I agree.
Like, everybody have a mental problem. It's a disease. What can you do about that? You can't do nothing. That's some of the pros with the cons. Now, yeah, we all want to put him out there and chop him like a guillotine, but he has a mental problem, or she has a mental problem. I don't know how they was raised. Things might have happened to them. Or you put him into a situation where he's monitored, but he's still, when I say monitored, you can even, no lie, have a certain area where all these people are at. They're living their life, but they're in that section.
Right. Johnny, speak on it.
I want to digress a little bit and actually touch on something that was said at the same time, dealing with conspiracy. Dealing with, first of all, conspiracy, we have to understand modern day slavery. When we understand history and we understand what America has done, we understand that America had approach of capitalism. The first part of anything is to have a people underneath you, beneath you, that you can actually use in order to build yourself up. And so that's financially, economically, that's all the way around where we see Europeans are ahead of us in everything. When we see the incarceration rate that she spoke on, that is huge, it's a big number than any other country in the world. It's big business here. Yeah. So one of the conspiracies that we do have, when we look at it, we look at the target of our communities, because we are put in low poverty, communities. I used to call them concentration camps. In a way where they put you in a concentration camp and then they actually use you as a guinea pig. Where
it's like a project,
right?
It's a place, but it's a project. We're right. This project,
right?
And set these people right here.
So when we put you there, because especially when I came to Vegas and understood the history of Vegas, but that's everywhere where they give you an area where this is the only area where you can actually live, right? And so they put all these people in one area and let them deal with trying to get out. and when Tupac made a statement one time, he said, when he was talking about it one time, he said, when I'm knocking on the door and I'm hungry, talking about, hey, y'all got some food in here. I know y'all got plenty of food up here. Let me in. I'm trying to be happy about it. Now come knock. Hey, let me in. I'm hungry. And I keep on coming to the door, knocking in. And after a while, I'm busting down the door like, look, I'm hungry. Give me some food. So that's the way we are. And again, I always look at how in the community, of course, we in our communities, we deal with something that nobody else deal with, and that's being poor. Yeah. And what do? They put on TV and show us all the glimmering gold.
Yes.
They show you everything, right, that and make you thirsty for everything that you see. And this is all conspiracy. This is all. I always look at TV and stuff like that. I always say it's about sorcery and trickery and all this stuff, because they use to control the minds of our people. And so when we look at it, the first thing we want to do, we want what everybody else got, but at what cost? Sometimes the cost is great, because what does that do? It have you robbing your friend, yes, robbing your neighbors, have you doing some things. I mean, even putting the drugs in the area. When we deal with prison, we deal with everything that we did not bring to the community, but we deal with what other people was able to allow to come into our community. In L.A., we had a liquor store and a church on every few corners. You have 5, 6 churches. You walk down, you got church, liquor store, liquor store, liquor store. And so in those communities, and you bring the drugs in and everything else. Why? In that community. But then when you go to Beverly Hills and you go to any other neighborhood within, their communities, you do not see that.
Disneyland.
It's not called liquor store.
You know what I'm saying? And so you get the best. You get something that you don't see, clean neighborhoods, everything. So what does that do to you psychologically? Right. And so we're targeted. And then when they come, then and it's a trip, because when I look at it, I grew up in a neighborhood where I ran from the police whether I did anything or not. That's true. I ran from the police whether I did anything or not. I didn't look at police as what their car said, to serve and protect. I believe they was to serve and protect other people, or people who came to our neighborhood to get our money.
Well, that's crazy, because me being raised by Caucasians, and I was, raised in, safe. I never was raised in a bad area. I have a nervousness when I see a police officer now. I mean, I know it don't make any, I actually get nervous just when they're driving by. I have no reason to be nervous. I don't have a warrant. I don't have a criminal record, but for some reason, I automatically clench up on the steering wheel and get nervous. Don't want to look at them, look straight. I mean, it's crazy. We shouldn't have to feel that way, but it's because we don't know, police brutality, planting drugs. I was reading an article about that, planting drugs in your car. I just seen on the news where the police shot 3 kids. So I mean, but they get away with everything. They're not incarcerated. Exactly. So back to what you were saying.
Oh, this is all, it's all related. It all pretty much relates. And going off of the whole police thing, if I see a police, I'm usually going the other way, unless I see black people involved. Then I'm walking by to make sure, not like I can really do anything with people with guns, but sometimes I like to walk by just to make sure that the black people who are being dealt with are being dealt with appropriately.
Right.
I found myself doing that last month when there was like an incident on the street, and I was like, let me just walk by because I see the black people. Let me just go walk by and, But other than that, police, I'm going the other way, because I'm not trying to be. I don't have the bones or the skin for incarceration, and I am trying just to avoid it at all costs.
Well, we can't have anarchy, so there has to be laws, and people who break them some kind of way, that has to be punished. So you're going to have that.
Some people believe that we don't have to have. I've heard some people say that we should allow the community to do the policing, and that we don't necessarily need police, because at this point, some of the people that are supposed to be protecting us are, like you said, they're not protecting us. They're planting evidence, and now you're getting 60, 20, 50 years for things that really should not even be the case. So some people are saying, that I've heard, that we should police ourselves. I don't know. What do you think about that?
If we police ourselves, honestly, we'll kill a lot of people, probably for no justice, because people think differently. They don't go by laws, they go by feelings.
Right.
So if we think that person guilty, and they may not be guilty, and they're going to be condemned. Way back in the day, they went by people. They got hung and all that, and these people were innocent. So it has to be ground zero somewhere.
But they're still innocent people.
Then they're still guilty people.
Right, that's true. I mean,
I definitely believe that we can police ourselves. I believe when we get back, and that's why I always deal with, no matter where we are, there's nothing we can change from where we are. I mean, far as what has happened, and you know what I'm saying. I'm saying the only thing that we can do is get better with where we've been. And so how we get better is, and we always deal with, first of all, and I always say this because it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, is what they say. But at the same time, we always say our children are our future. And so when we deal with the children, because when you see, this is one thing we got to recognize. When we see, the children are always the target. They're the target for everything on this earth that is something in the future that's going to destroy us. The kids are the first target, because if you don't understand that, you'll understand where McDonald's was one of the culprits, that whenever you put so many things that the parents give the kids what they want. So we deal with so many different things in the communities, even with music and stuff like that, because the kids are always the target. Why? Because first of all, white supremacy understand that if we change the minds of a generation early, the old generation is going to die off. The new generation is going to come with the ideas, but we have to interject thought within the younger generation. But see, we always say it like this: if you don't train your kids, just like they used to say in L.A. about the police say, if you don't train your kids, we will. You understand? Because what they gonna do, they gonna kill him.
Yep.
And so, but that's what they exercising now. They exercising the fact that if they out in the street, we just gonna kill them. We are being killed now and like hunted down like animals by the police now. Because when it come down to destroying us, we are a target on so many different levels. I mean, that's starting with kids, that's starting with food, that's starting with so many different things with the police, with crime, with drugs, with alcohol, so many different ways that conspiracy wise, not only that, and I won't always blame someone else, because we have to educate ourselves and understand if we have an enemy, we have to understand how to fight our enemy.
Right.
And if nobody tell us that, it's just like saying when you and your woman playing and then she hit you so hard, you like, wait a minute, we was playing? You for real? You understand? And so we have to understand that the enemy out there that's trying to destroy us, he's for real. So we got to understand how to fight him. And how do we fight him? You have to somehow, like I always talk, about mentorship and stuff like that, of getting kids to understand what they're up against. Because once you go into areas of drug dealing and different things of robbing people and different stuff like that, yes, there is a prison for you and they're waiting on you. They want you there because it is big business. They're making trillions of dollars with labor in prison.
Right.
So they need you.
Now, do I think that, I'm going to change it up a little bit, but do I think that people should be given a second chance? Yes. Let me tell you why. I have family members, a lot of them, that have been to prison. My sons are affected by their father being in prison. I mean, people make dumb choices. You shouldn't get out and can't get a job and all of those different things and stuff like that. But a lot of people are repeated offenders. They get comfortable. That becomes their home. It's something in there that programs their mind to feel more comfortable in there than they do out here. So they go back. So they go back,
Because they get, if they've been there a long time, they get what is it called?
Institutionalized.
Yeah, they get that because that's what they're used to being in there. And if they're in there, they have a lot of power. So they'll go back because they're nothing when they get on the streets, because it's a whole new ball game when you come to the streets. Nobody owes you nothing. You got to go out there and find work in there.
But you feel like you have no sense of forgiveness. And they don't have they have some programs like Prisoners of Hope, I believe, or some Hope for Prisoners or something like that. But there's not really a lot of programs and chances for people who have committed crimes. And then there's some races that get longer times than others.
Right.
They commit the same crime. So, I mean...
Well, that's a whole nother issue now. That's what we call that, like...
I think that goes back to what you were saying. It's not the current system of jail, prison is not designed to bring people to a place of healing, because it is about money and capitalism. So it's designed to make you feel comfortable, put you in this where you're uncomfortable, because it's not natural to have so many people in one space, for 24 hours a day. And some people are in solitary confinement, which is totally a whole different thing. And it's designed to want to make you to come back. And obviously if you're a felon, even though to me, I believe that if you serve your time, once you're out, I feel like whatever the charge was that's on you, I feel like it should be dropped. Because what's the point of serving your time as a felon or whatever your charge was, and then you come out and you still are considered a felon?
Because you paid your debt.
You paid the debt.
I'm sorry, I believe some crimes. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry.
So if you're a murderer, then and they give you, it depends on what type of murder. It could have been just
self-defense.
Yeah, it could have been manslaughter. Those are levels, and that's why you get out, and you serve your time. If you're a cold-blooded murderer, you wouldn't get out.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
I'm just want to go back on that other issue. If we police ourselves, we'll be biased because would you send your son or your sister or your mother to jail if they committed a crime?
When I say police ourselves, though, I want to say this though. When I say now I don't say that we can right away go and start this system of policing ourselves.
No,
I think when you create, when you start somehow a vision of creating your own environment, as you hear like the Moors talk about creating their own government. And so if you look in places like I told you about Dimona, Israel, and you have people over there who created their own environment. They created their own police system. They don't need a police with a badge on them because why? People in those communities, they have been taught a certain way, and they have a lifestyle.
Right.
And that lifestyle that they're taught, they're teaching the young kids, they teaching a lifestyle, first of all, of believing in a God. That's one. And that's why sometimes I used to think about when I was kind of look differently about the church, right? And then I had to take a real good look and say, you know what? There are some people need church. And so I couldn't really go against that. There's some people need the Islamic community.
Right.
The Nuwabian community, the Hebrew community, Jehovah's Witness community. I mean, at some point, of course, you can graduate from those communities, but at the same time, you have some people that need that. And so when a guy tell me, man, I need church, man, if you believe you need church, you really do. That's what you need. And so when you come, and so when you looking for avenues or different environments when you coming out of prison with that type of mindset, we do have to deal with, first of all, each case. I mean, each case that you deal with, first of all, when you have family members that have been in prison, you have some, I mean, like you said, when you look at murderers, rapists, we all gonna look at different crimes differently. We're gonna judge them. I mean, the way that you feel about that particular crime, especially how it affects you. And I mean, when you look at, you have kids and stuff, and when it comes to a molester or something like that, you're going to be a little hard on that child molester.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No
So,
justice.
but that's what we have to definitely deal with. First of all, and this is what I don't like. I don't like, first of all, how when you have white kids, when we seen them do mass shootings in schools, and then at the same time, when you see the boy that got choked out on the bridge for selling water. You understand what I'm saying? And then at the same time, when you see
Where does this happen?
right on the bridge in Las Vegas, when the kid was out there selling water, and they had him out there, 3 officers, a young kid. And so these type of things right here is
He died?
No, he didn't die. But the seriousness of what happens to us, outside of when they say this kid here have a psychological issue, and they don't deal with the psychological issues in the black neighborhoods, knowing that we went through more than any other race on this earth. And so when it come down to the psychological position of us, we are dealing with more psychological issues than anybody. But we have been strong enough to deal with them ourselves.
Yes.
And so when we look at the fact that we've came out of 400 years of slavery, and when we deal with our DNA and our RNA information of that when we look back and people say, oh, forget about it, we can't forget about it, because it still pains the next generation. Why? Because we know what they've been through. And when we see that it's still happening, that we still dealing with racism, and we still dealing with the brutality we're dealing with, so psychologically, we look at the kids coming up. And it's funny because my father used to even look at his great grandkids and stuff and say, boy, these kids are born mad because they crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't understand this, but you deal with mental issues, and nobody deal with the mental issues that's in the black community. That's something that is not dealt with. It's something that's not talked about enough.
I I'm a little biased when it comes. I love my black people. But because I was raised by white people, I still have my heart toward them. So a lot of people don't understand. Like, I don't really look at race the way that others do. Yes, my sons are black. I know they are targets. My daughters are black. I know they are targets. Don't get me wrong, I'm black. But I still have this passion for the other race as well. I don't want to see them have injustices either, and that's just who I am as an individual. I had a friend of mine tell me, well, if you're going to do, my nonprofit that I'm building, I'm like, I'm going to help every race. And I had a friend of mine say, well, that's crazy because it'll be the white race that'll turn on you. But at the end of the day,
you know the funny thing about all this, because when we level it out, when you're poor, it's always a race issue. When you're rich, it's not a race issue. So it's not even about race, black or white. It's about rich or poor. That's just, we not seeing that, but that's what it's always been about.
And I go further than that to say it's about good and evil when we deal with what you saying too. It is about rich and poor, and then it's about good and evil. We can break that down in so many different ways, but I wanna contend with the good, and I wanna contend with the evil. There is an evil character of people, and there is a good character of people. And sometimes people that do wrong, not always evil. It's just the circumstances that make them do what they do.
And I think the evil people is the one controlling everything, and watch the good people that's down there suffer, because that's what it is. It's like peasants and kings in so many ways.
And we can deal with that too to say.
And the thing is, truly, if you really think, if we look at our DNA, like you said, we are kings. But we're looked at upon as peasants. You know, I created a shirt that said, I'm a queen, I don't entertain peasants. But when I think about it, what am I calling a peasant? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm degrading by calling someone a peasant. Now that you said it like that, that made me kind of rethink a little bit, because we truly are kings and queens.
You have to, I say you have to graduate to be a queen. You got to graduate to the area of being a king. I mean, some peasants, I mean, it's just like a butterfly, man. You become a caterpillar to a butterfly. You got to become that. I don't think everyone can actually hold that title of a king or a queen.
You don't think
just
so?
You
don't think it's deep down in them, is what I'm saying, that they have to tap into it.
I'm going to tell you, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, look, if we subscribe to the idea and understand where we come from, like our DNA, like I would definitely never disagree with the fact that who we supposed to be as kings and queens, because we have to look back to our history. We have to look at even African folklore. We have to look for where we come from in history. We come from kingship. We come from that authoritative figure. We come from lords and goddesses. And so, yes, I believe that. But Farrakhan said something wonderful too. I mean, not wonderful, but it wasn't good. But when he said, God created kings and queens, he said white people created niggas, and I don't want to say the other word, but that's what they created. And so, and when I use the word, when I separate the races and say whites and blacks, I don't mean all whites. Right. I mean, when we look at a system that created America, we can say when they used to call them the white devils, they called the white supremacy that started America, that funded America through slavery, who pillaged and raped, who killed and murdered. Those people were devils. That's facts.
Let me say it then. If you Caucasian and you a racist, then you're a cracker. You're a racist, you're a cracker. If you're not a racist, then you're not.
But do we have to call each other, like, see, and that's where I struggle, because do we have to call each other crackers?
Because those are the ones that's racist. Those are the ones that are racist. Now, I'm not talking about all, because all black people don't consider themselves niggas.
Exactly.
But we call each other the N-word. We call each other the B-words.
All black people don't.
They use it as a term of endearment.
What they did was transform it into a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
To them, it's good. Now,
that's foolishness.
It is. It definitely is.
To them, it's like, I'm gonna make this word great for me instead of you saying it and make it offensive to me. So now I'm gonna flip it.
My name is Kenya. I mean, a white girl actually called me nigga when I was younger, and I went to juvenile hall because I put her head through the bus window. But if someone would have taught me my DNA and my authority and my identity and all of that, I probably wouldn't have did that.
Okay,
but because I was automatically, even though I was being raised by a white family, I was being raised by a white family. They were one of the best families that I could have ever had.
That you knew of. Right. They could have been racist. You just didn't know.
No, they loved me. They loved me, right?
Oh, wow.
They treated,
I said wow because they don't like their little black niggas.
But because everybody,
I'm just saying, in reality.
No, everybody at school talked about me. Because I was with a white family. I sabotaged being with them because they were Caucasian. But they were better to me than a lot of the African American families I was with. They were better to me than they were.
What I'm saying to you, That don't mean they were better.
That was your
Everybody.
That was your
That was your
experience.
experience.
Never ignorant getting goes accomplished. Let's flip what nigga means. Now, if you're a racist black person, then you might be called another word. If you're a racist white person, then you call another word. But if you're not racist, you're not racist. I'm speaking of those who racist. Those who know some racist stuff go down and they say nothing. That means they're getting along with that. Like if she was Caucasian and you say nigga to me, you Caucasian, and she don't say nothing, she just as guilty as you. She could be just like you. Because you allow it and nobody says nothing. They just like blindly like stick their head in the sand like a proverbial ostrich, like everything is good.
So let me ask you guys all a question. Do you guys think that the white nationality is the enemy?
If I okay, I'm gonna let you say.
Johnny? Answer yes or no.
No, not at all.
Camila?
No.
No.
Okay, me either.
No.
Yeah.
Crackers are the enemy.
Racist mentality,
It's the enemy.
white supremacy, the ideology that whoever you are, whatever color you are, is better than another person.
There it is right
And
there.
you are excelling, and your economics and who you are is more at an advantage because you have caused people to be disadvantaged. That's what I do not like. And we see disparities everywhere. We're talking about disparities in the prison system. We're talking about disparities in education, economics. There's only a few people, less than 1% of the people in the world who are billionaires,
Right.
and they're controlling a lot of of what's going on.
Illuminati.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying.
So, but
I'm a
it's the
conspiracy.
ideology.
That's not good because they
I
can
am
watch
too.
me and they can probably want to lock me up. If I have a lot of people listening to me, then I get locked up fast. Crazy.
Oh yeah, you
But-
out here.
But it is. There's a group of people that, and you know what? An old show. I go way back to Twilight Zone. There was an old show that they watched the people and they caused a lot of chaos and watched them turn on each other and say, look at the humans. If we do this, they'll turn on each other. And that's just what it is. There's a higher power that's just watching all this, controlling everything,
Right.
and say, look at this.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone. They was doing that all the time.
Experiments. We've seen experiments all the time
It's
with
experiment. Like,
black people.
That's,
But when we think spirituality, and so in even Christological thinking, we have good and evil, and so even outside of that, we talk about the universe and energies and stuff like that. So you got good in everything, you got negative, you got positive, and so all these energies and spirits, if you subscribe to any of the energies that you feel around you, and far as with people, you know that some people that you're around are just filled with hate, filled with negativity, filled with negative energies. And then you have some people that are you can feel their presence, you can feel the good from that individual. I mean, you can feel that. And so that's why I always understand good and evil. And so why? Because an evil person represents, just like when we look at linguistics about the word Lucifer, devil, and all that it represents. It represents a character. What do we talk about even in Christological studies? He come to kill, steal, and destroy. What do we see with any people of evil? Kill, steal, and destroy.
they
That's it.
transfer evil
Kill, steal, and
energy.
destroy. Evil
They
energy.
transfer
Exactly.
one place to another.
But it still starts with self. It's something inside of you. This is what I believe. You don't like you, or there's something
I'm gonna
about
get your
you that you
experience.
have this lack of understanding about your character, that you don't like yourself because you're only going to give you that type of energy because you don't like you. I don't hate other people.
It had to come into you.
Unless I
The energy
hate
had to come
myself.
into you. You're just not going to be born.
Yeah, no.
It had to come into you.
It was taught some sort of way.
Nobody is
through the
born with that type of
mind.
evil.
You know what I'm saying? It has to and the reason why I say this because I'm gonna tell you an experience that happened to me. Crazy.
Right.
I haven't told a lot of people, but I'm making it short. I used to have these weird nightmares about control, thinking. I forgot what they call it, but you can't wake up and la la la.
Sleep paralysis.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And Christians or
Oh yeah.
call it. So I was trying to wake up and I was like screaming it in my sleep, but I wasn't screaming out loud. And I felt it jump off me into my friend's father, and he jumped up and screamed, and I knew this is some evil stuff.
This is a dream. This was your dream,
This,
or this
no,
is like
this is
really
it.
happening?
Really happened.
Oh, wow.
It really happened. So I didn't say nothing to him. He passed away. I never told him, but I felt it come off me.
Right.
Jumped on him simultaneously. He jumped up and screamed. He didn't know what was going on, but I knew what was going on.
You
Yeah.
knew what was going on.
So I don't know what that is. It's evil. It transfers somewhere. Like it came from somewhere. Like
what makes you think that it was evil?
at the time, I believed it was evil.
Okay.
I don't know what to think now. You know, I have a different view
Okay.
of religion.
Anything
and
that
science.
anything that causes fear to
Do they
me.
call that paralysis or something?
Well, that's what
It's
they hide it
paralysis,
with. That's
yeah.
what they
What
hide
is
it
it?
with science. With
Yeah.
science, but if you are religious, you're not going to call it that. So it depends
Like
on.
evil spirit or something.
You're going to depend on what
Yeah.
you believe in. So I don't know what it is.
Or some
man.
type of energy that's satanic or something like that. But I've dealt with that. I dealt with that struggle of sleep.
Sleep paralysis. I think everybody
some
has.
paralysis,
Yeah, everybody has.
And so you deal with some things of falling and stuff like that. And I think everything that we deal with comes with a certain level of an experience that brings us to a certain level of thought, of thinking.
It make you think different.
It make you think. And so when you take that thinking to another level, you understand, especially if you embrace it, you understand spirituality.
Right.
So you understand even when you sleep, even in sleep, you still, it's not like you're gone. It's like your mind is still going. You can be somewhere else in your sleep, in your mind, and and so dealing with some type of spirituality in
You don't
another,
realize it's not real to you
place.
until you wake up.
Well, the reason I know that this is true, and that's the reason it's going to sound crazy to people. People don't know why I don't drive on the strip. I have a fear to drive on the strip or to the airport. I won't do it, and it's because I kept having this dream that that's how I died. So it literally,
Don't drive on the strip.
it literally,
Don't will that into
it
existence
literally
if you
caused
believe in
a fear. But I have to overcome that fear. I understand that that is spiritual. That's my perception, that it is a spiritual entity. I believe that it came to cause fear. Now I won't drive the freeway or to the airport.
Well, people have fear of different things.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, maybe it's just, like they say, it could be your mind going crazy, playing tricks on you. I don't know, right? Because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Even incarcerated, you could be free in the mind. That's what they say.
Yeah, I hear people
You
say
can still be somewhere else in your mind, and when you understand a higher spiritual level, you can actually understand what is it. Just like when you're asleep, you can actually go somewhere else and understand that you can deal with other things outside of your body. So when we start to understand spirituality, but I think getting back to even that, because I think we left off that topic to
Incarceration. It's a
Incarceration.
conspiracy,
Well,
y'all.
what you
We
talk,
have to go to jail to make
mean-
money.
I think that point that you make could be something that is helpful for some, because there are people who are not getting out of prison or wherever they are. They're not getting out.
And that's
So
what they
I
deal
think
with.
you bring up a very good point about spirituality and where that comes in for a person where prison is their life until the end of their life. And that's something that sometimes some may think that spirituality is taught or it's naturally just a part of you, but I think that's a tool for somebody who is in that situation to try to seek whatever it is that they need to be able to be in this space of, okay, I need to find my freedom within this confinement.
You don't have to break the law. I'm just saying, because you put yourself in a situation because you want that, and there's a penalty for that. You don't have to break it. You're going to go to jail, Now, murderers, cold-blood murderers, to me, I'm going to go think crazy. If you a psycho person, and you could tell a person through history of life of them if they really mentally messed up. But if you can go into a place and shoot up everything, I think you should be assassinated in front of public.
Oh, wow.
So the people who think they're finna do that will see this and say, no, this is how they settle their crime.
So you believe in the death penalty?
They killed 100 people with no problem. So what do? You have to make a statement. You have to shame them in front of public.
How they're never gonna know? They're gonna be gone.
No, but the people who coming after them, that want to, I'm a sacrifice to you, that cause, they're gonna think about that twice. because the people assassinated them. So if like the guillotine, go back to that. In the back in the days, what happened? The town was right there. They were on that noose, whatever you call it, and they were watching. Now I'm saying this: if you could step to that crime, and nothing be wrong with you, you have to have history of psychological problems to say, okay, something wrong with this person.
Right.
If you don't have that, then you plan to do that. How can you have psychological problems if you plan to do that? I'm planning. I'm getting my stuff ready, and I'm have 2 days ago. I'm gonna have a Instagram page or something. This is what I'm gonna do. You're not psycho.
So you don't think that they deserve redemption or forgiveness? That they just need to be shot dead? Because I'm just saying.
They went inside. If we go back to Columbine, they got their ammo ready and basically played a video game. Let's see how many people we can kill. So, to make a statement, now let's say we rehabilitate them. That's a slap on them, like that.
And even what just
The
happened.
next person will like, oh, nothing will happen to me. And I might have a omen and like, I'm tired and go do something.
So what about a drunk driver that kills someone? But they were driving. No, seriously.
It's called manslaughter.
No. It's called manslaughter. But they've had repeated offenses. They've constantly been drinking, got tickets. They're back on the road, and then they kill somebody. You think that was just an accident?
If they got, it goes to courts, not public policing themselves. It goes to court. If you got crime after crime of the same thing, then you're gonna get tacked on that crime. You might get life for this manslaughter.
You don't think they have the same pain as the person in Columbine? So shouldn't they receive the same penalty?
No, because they got drunk, and then sometimes one drink can make you drunk and not realize what you did. To somebody who get a weapon, put ammunition in there, cock it, go inside a place. That's the difference.
You know how people, and back to this alcohol thing, you know how people say, I got drunk and I don't remember? Can I tell you something? Anytime that I was ever wasted, I remember everything.
Well, you do.
That
A lot of people don't.
I don't believe that.
A lot of people don't.
I don't believe that. I believe you remember everything you say, everything
Don't
you
believe
do.
that a drunk ain't, and they remember everything.
Yes, I was. Literally. I remember. I know. I remember my birthday.
It's some people
I
that
was.
don't know how they got home.
And they remember.
No, they don't.
I don't agree.
Know.
They don't.
That's my personal thing.
Alcohol messes with the brain. Hits the brain first. So that right there, it stops your memory.
Listen.
It stops your memory.
Charles, I can ask any drunk that I know. They remember what they said. They want to play it off like they don't remember what they said.
Everybody don't remember.
Everybody don't remember. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. Some people do something and crash and cause a thing, and they don't remember. And they don't remember.
I'm sorry. I don't agree. But
if you study the alcohol, it does say they don't remember everything. Everybody didn't have the same.
they're called spirits. So they was them spirits then. So they don't remember now because it was the spirits, right?
I don't know about that, but they don't deserve the same punishment as. Now I know mother gets drunk drive, they get angry about that, but they don't deserve the same punishment as somebody who is a cold-blooded murderer.
That's your opinion.
That should be anybody's opinion.
I think you gotta look at each case, man, and people. And
that's why I say don't police yourself, because if they'll be biased. Hang him, and he got drunk that day and ran the bus stop and killed somebody.
Absolutely, but and you know what? And then the people who are going to be the most, I think, ready to crucify somebody is someone who is affected the most.
Yeah.
Because when they are emotionally attached to someone who was killed by some type of situation
already,
I mean, so
they're biased.
You have to deal with that. But at the same time, each case, when it comes down to crimes, you definitely have to look at the situation. I think we got a sick system when it comes down to incarceration. I mean, it is sick. I mean, especially when you're dealing with drug dealers.
You can get life for drugs.
Exactly.
You get 6 months for a weapon.
The reason I know, my brother who lives in Texas, he's been in there since he was 16. He is 42. And he's gone before the parole board for selling drugs in a school zone.
Texas is a racist state.
And he has not gotten out yet.
That racist state. You know, Texas is a racist state, right?
Goodness gracious.
The South law
Here, a lot of people get, I hate to say, in Vegas though, a lot of people get slaps on the wrist. I've seen people, my brother's one, you know, I love him. He knows I do. But he go in and out, he just gets to go in and out, in and out, in and out.
It is because on the West Coast, you don't have that system. On the South, it's still slave mentality.
California was bad with that 3-strike law too.
Yeah, they stuck the 3-star law.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy.
And I just think that somebody could avoid that. Not saying get 3 strikes because he stole a pizza because he was hungry.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's
but
crazy.
You don't have to commit the same felony as far as armed robbery and all that and go back to do that. It's like, okay, you know what you're doing, something got to be done. But the stipulated, you got 2 strikes and then you hungry and you go snatch a pizza.
That's it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger did that. I just want to, not nigga, Arnold Schwarzenegger did that stuff. But
he stole a pizza?
No, he implemented that.
Oh.
No. Terminator don't steal pizzas. No, but South has a stricter because they still go back to the good old boys days where niggeras is what they call us. Different than the West Coast. So they law is going to be hang a person, send them up, Angola for life. For looking at
a drug charge on a school zone though.
I mean,
his whole life is gone, and he's trying to get parole now.
They make examples out of people, and I think if you're gonna be a drug dealer, all money and good money. Don't sell by the school. Don't do that because you done already made your case higher now. Because what if some kids get it?
Like you said, you don't have to do the crime.
You don't have to do the crime. I'm not. You don't have to. People do what they want to do. But if you're gonna do that, I think there's levels of doing things.
They say if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Because the time don't match the time.
If you want to get out there and do what you do, then they waiting on you. They need some free labor.
They do. Yeah, they waiting on you.
Don't they make like the license plates and the shoes in prison or something like that? Or
these days they doing everything. They got where China, all them Chinese are doing all the work. Now they got people in prison making clothes, doing everything. They got so much going on in prison now. I mean, they go outside the prison. They got people go outside into the factories.
See, we have to teach people off the bat. You're bought with a price when you're born. Off the bat. In those other countries, we already owned by them until we buy ourselves back. No matter what, when you're born. That's just the way they negotiate.
When you look at the government and you look at how it's set up with your social security number and all that stuff, that's what we are.
That's how it's set up.
That's how people don't realize how we still a slave to our government. And that's all we do. When you born, you get a social security number in your life, and that's how they say that's how we get messed up sometimes. We go into the school system and we're taught in school certain things to go into the workplace, to go into slavery again, not to go start your own business. We're not even given money to start our own business. We are set up to fail from the get-go.
See, they gave us our freedom, but they kept the land. We didn't get our 40 acres in the middle.
And I need mine.
If you are not attached to the
Aren't they trying to give us reparations right now?
We need it.
Or something like that?
It's one of those. I'm going to give you a little and satisfy you.
I wasn't a slave.
Your reparation going to be waking up.
Realize what's going on.
That's reparation for you. Wake up and you'll be free.
Right. Take this blue pill so you don't want to know what's really going on, or take this red pill so you see what's really going on.
And so, like you said, and you was talking about something earlier when it comes down to even we was talking about the women being missing and stuff like that, when you deal with that and protection and stuff like that. So gotta deal with that one too. And somebody said one time, it's almost like when the woman wouldn't cheat, she was cheating on her husband with another man, right? And so she came up missing. Somebody said she should have told somebody she was cheating with the other man. Then in
other countries, if you cheat, you can be married, but if you cheat, they'll get rid of you. And I ain't talking about, okay, you can go. No, you're gone. They have laws over there. You can marry 2 different people, but you can't cheat.
But people don't talk about things like truthfulness. I mean, when you being truthful about what you're doing and stuff like that, especially in being truthful with your kids and stuff like that, and then it's like you deal with your kid got some issues and you wait till they get grown and when something happen, you think your kid was, coming to be this type of kid. But if you did nothing to kind of deter that, or even let other people know, hey, I had a kid once, I had to let everybody know he's a thief. So I'm raising him. I mean, he wasn't mine, but I'm responsible for him. But while he was stealing, so everywhere I took him, I said, y'all watch him. He's a thief. I put him on blast.
No, I believe. I didn't know no better when I was younger. I thought everything was put handed to me, and me and my friends. We're talking about we're 10, 9, 10, 11. We used to take turns stealing from our parents. I stole $1 from my uncle. He borrowed me from his house till I was grown.
Wow.
I was 11. Yeah, I didn't come to his house no more until I was 18. And that was with family. $1, 4 quarters, $1, because he looked at it like you stole.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give it to you. And at that time, my auntie, she didn't just blame her kids, or she didn't just blame me. She had to question all of us. So yeah, back in that time, they strip search you, take off your pants, and I had it in my drawers, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to the family to steal. Today, they don't care. Maybe because they're not being taught.
Right.
I think it's because they're not being taught.
We are the teachers. We are responsible for kids that we raise. We are responsible to the point.
That's gonna be another topic on the radio. Kids and disobedience.
Don't get me wrong.
It hurts, but
Don't get me wrong.
we are responsible.
We're responsible, and so I know we all gonna say, okay, I've taught them everything they did, and they went left field, and I get that. I mean, because you're gonna get that. The main part is
Bash
that we take responsibility, but
that don't always work. Let me tell you something.
When you start young, when I say young, I mean as far as 1 and 2 years old. If you wait till they get, and then the surroundings, what they see is what they started reacting to.
I always say sometimes we laughing at the wrong thing.
Yes.
You gotta
But even if you start disciplining them that young, listen. We're gonna talk about this on another topic though, because we're running out of time.
You will save 5 out of 6. You might not save all 6.
I got
all
5,
but you gonna save 5 out of 6.
And when they was younger, I started off with that whooping stuff. I was whooping and whooping and whooping and whooping
and
and
you
whooping.
wasn't supposed to stop.
And that's what happened. I was like, okay, let me start talking to him.
But
and now I'm like, what happened?
See, whooping and chastising, you have to go hand in hand. You gotta always be on the children, so they won't be up in jail. You gotta not bless them for acting. Okay, go, here, take the phones and get out of my hair. No, take that phone, put them in the corner. If you think that, I ain't doing that. Bam, you getting a whooping because you gonna feel that and you gonna know. I mean, business. You can't be friends with your children.
Right.
You have to be parents.
But we are definitely responsible though. We are responsible for criminals. Yeah. We're responsible for we're responsible for good people too. So and at the same
if you
time,
lock them up. Say, look, it's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you.
I have a whole nother take on that, but we're gonna talk. And I guess it's just from experience. I have a whole nother take on that one. But
I mean, everybody have a different experience, and I would never knock a situation because the unfortunate part is, and I always say, we go through more than anybody else on this earth. So whenever we talk about conspiracy, when we talk about even not having a father in the home, we got so many issues that we deal with. We have so many psychological issues we deal with in the home we don't address. So we got a lot of work.
We're just stronger. We're just stronger at handling things.
We are.
We're stronger, but at the same time, you gotta be on them. You gotta be on them because they're gonna know.
And I like the stories to hear, and I want to just say this. I want to always bring up scripture, but it's like when you look at the prodigal son, when he talked about him,
bring up scripture.
I'm just want to touch on it. and so when the prodigal son leaves because he want to go into the world and experience things, that's how we put it. We interject thought on that, is paraphrasing. And so when he go out and he does what he do, and then he come back and the father rewards him. Why? Because the most wonderful thing is then when a child, like I know people who went out and gangbang and did everything they did and came back and went to prison and came out and doing better than anybody I know. And those are the wonderful things, because why? Those individuals that I did know, I know what kind of homes they came out of. Right. And when you look at them, you're like, wow, how did they go left field? But you do have the situations where people do go left field.
That's why I say. And
I mean,
for example, I went left field, but I got lucky. I didn't get no felony. I didn't go to prison, and I went left field.
Yeah, there's some things that can take you there.
It can take you there.
But then that one who was taught, and then he come back, I mean, you never know what that bad child is gonna do later on in life when he wakes up.
Because he
Go
was
on,
taught.
preacher.
Because he was taught. They didn't give up on him. He was taught.
Absolutely.
He was taught. And then once he grown, now you go.
Real quick about that prodigal scripture, real quick, because a lot of people don't know in that particular scripture, it talks about he was about to eat from the pig pen and
Absolutely.
he came
He
to
got that
himself.
low.
So he didn't even eat it. So sometimes a child has to go all the way far down and then they come to themselves.
He woke up.
Yeah.
But they have to be taught because it'll be embedded in their head
Absolutely.
somewhere deep
Absolutely.
down, somewhere, but it's there.
If you got good teaching in you, that's what it's
gonna-
all
it's
about.
gonna
That's why I
follow.
said. That's why I said we can look at a situation not to judge anybody at all, because when you put something in a child, you when they say grandmama prayed for us, and no matter when we came back, it's because we had some good teaching, we had some prayers and
It's
everything.
still there.
That
It's
was
still
there,
in our
that
head. If
protected
it's
us
not
and brought us
there-
back.
Oh, and just one quick thing, really quick. I just wanted to give a shout out to my teacher, professor at the Howard University School of Divinity, who really sparked my interest in this topic and taught me to be in a space of learning what to do, to learning ways to bring healing to our brothers and sisters who are returning from incarceration. So that's Dr. Dean Trulier at Howard University.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, we're getting ready to close out. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you were liberated in your soul, innovated in your mind, and empowered in your heart. And continue to let's lie, guys. All right. See you next week. Peace. Hi, I'm Kenya R. Young with L.I.E International, motivational speaker and empowerment catalyst and transformational coach. If you are looking for someone to come into your business to empower your people, innovate their minds, and give them new creativity to take your business to another level, I am your girl. I work in corporate events, commercials, or maybe you just need me in your church event. If so, you can go to my website at kenyaryoung.com and book my services right now.